Hey guys, it's Danny. Today we're going to talk about a plant that I find truly unique. And it's not an orchid. I know, weird. It is actually the beautiful Aglaonema tricolor pictum. Here she is. There is a reason why she's under close. We're going to talk about it. This plant, in my opinion, is the plant with the most beautiful foliage in the world. And yes, that says a lot because, to be fair, I like the foliage of this plant more than my biggest orchid weakness, which is the Phalaenopsis schilleriana. And you guys know how much I brag about this orchid. I love the schilleriana, but I do believe that the tricolor pictum has even better foliage. Maybe you disagree, but this is how I feel about it. So you can understand, I really love this plant. The bad news is, well, there are two bad newses. One, it is nowhere near as easy to care for in a home as a Phalaenopsis schilleriana is, or any other Phalaenopsis that I've ever had to deal with, for that matter. For me, it wasn't. And second, it is 20 times, maybe more expensive. I don't know the prices today. I have this one for 2 years. I purchased it 2 years ago and it was fairly expensive at the time, over 100 euros. I paid for it, which is a lot. It's a lot of money. So I don't know how expensive it still is today, but definitely the price can actually be restrictive with this plant. So not only is it harder to grow, but it's also more expensive. So today I want to tell you about the ups and downs and my experience with this plant and how I managed to find success. Now, this is my personal story. If you can learn something from it, if you can relate, that's great. This is the purpose of this video. I also need to tend for this orchid. It definitely needs a repot, so I'm going to take you along as I tell you about my story. But I'm sure there are people in this world that have great success with this plant. Not me, not where I live, but recently I did manage to find success. So I'll tell you all about it and I'll show you how I grow it at the moment. So with that long intro out of the way, don't forget to give this video a like if you end up enjoying it. Why not subscribe? It is free and I post multiple times a week, all sorts of plant content. But if you're feeling a little extra, consider further supporting my channel by becoming a member or using the affiliate links that I have in the description, or buying some merch, or using the super thanks option below my videos. Right, with that said, I need gloves, I need a tray, and I need soil. Be right back. Alrighty, so we need to repot this plant because this potting soil is pretty old at this point, and if you could see on top, I have a lot of algae, whether it's cyanobacteria or algae. I'm not entirely sure, it kind of stinks. I'm guessing cyano. And the thing is, because it's not an epiphytic plant and it doesn't have roots at the surface, I don't actually have much damage when it comes to the root system. I don't think I do. So I managed to get away with it, but it has started to really stink. Whenever I open the dome, oh boy, it smells very powerful of bad, harsh type of chemicals. There are good chemicals in the world. Water is a chemical, but I think you can better make an idea if I say harsh stuff you clean the bathroom with that doesn't smell nice. Pretty much that's what it smells like to me. And I really want to plant it in a normal pot. There is no need for transparent pots. I wanted to see the roots and I don't see anything. I mean, I see a few roots, but it's not as exciting as an orchid. Who would have thought? It's a terrestrial plant. So I want to get rid of this medium, which has lasted me for well over a year. If you notice, along the stem, I do have little offshoots. These can be little baby plantlets, do you see? So I don't want to break them. And actually, this is a baby plantlet that I saved from the mother plant. Because, well, let's get into the history and all of the bad issues that I have with this plant. Well, we don't have a whole lot of roots, but we do have quite enough. So if you can see here, there is a little bit of a stumpy stem left. This was the mother plant, but I had major issues with thrips with this plant, being that it actually has beautiful, wonderful velvet leaves. It is also very prone to thrips, and I had major issues with the thrips. They almost decimated it. You can actually see, even on this one, I have some damage. So whatever I did with this plant, no matter where I put it, the thrips found it and decimated the leaves. Now, because it is a velvet plant, you know what, let me get rid of this because I'm inhaling that smell and I really don't like it. Hold on to that thought, okay? We were talking about thrips. All right, so because it is a velvet leafed plant, it is not a glossy leafed plant, it actually has a very, very, very thin cuticle, and my insect treatments are really not so desirable, mainly oil. I like to use mineral oil to treat pests. I found that over the last 10 years, it is the thing that gives me the best results, and I have become very proficient in knowing how to use it. Currently, I'm not even making my old mix that I do actually have a formula for. Check it down below in a video. I'm using Leaf Shine. It is mineral oil. It is what I need. I need to be very careful with it, but as I was saying, I became proficient. But the problem is, with velvet leafed plants, this is really not the greatest idea, and I only use it like in very extreme cases because velvet leaf plants absorb that oil, which is okay if it's absorbed in small quantities, but if you drop a little bit too much oil, it's gonna get into the plant system, it's going to affect the tissue, you will get dead leaves. No matter where you spray, you can totally avoid the underside and only spray the upper side. Yeah, it's going to absorb all of that oil and it's not gonna be nice. But in the case of this one, I had to use it. However, what I did first was I got rid of the mother plant, which was the most affected one, and I kept the baby. The baby was, I think, a little tinier than this even. I kept the mother stem because it had a lot of roots, and the baby plant didn't have all that many roots. So I just cut the stem, as you can see, and kept everything else. So that's step number one. Then I showered the heck out of this plant. I went on the terrace and with my hose set on the shower, I showered 10 minutes straight. I showered this plant. I got rid of all of these dried bits because pests can hide under them. So I got rid of all of them and I showered everything just so I dislodge those thrips, which is a technique. It can work. The problem is it doesn't get rid of all the thrips, sadly, but it gets rid of the vast majority of them. It is a good idea to always wash and shower these plants. And third, I did mist very, very, very lightly and from a distance the remaining plant with, I was about to say hairspray, no, Leaf Shine. And afterwards, I kept it under a dome. The dome you just saw, I kept it under there for the past almost a year, I feel like, and the plant made a full recovery. As you can see, it grew pretty slow because, yes, it was pretty affected by everything it went through, but it pulled through. Now, let's do something. Let's get some soil at this point. Okay, so I will be using the same type of mixture, soil and perlite 50-50. That has worked out great for me. I'm not gonna switch the formula, but I will apply a top layer just to prevent that whole cyano madness that we saw earlier. As I was saying, the dome had a double purpose. One, it protected against the pesky thrips, and second, it maintained high humidity. This is problem number two that I had with this plant. Whenever I kept it in my ambiental humidity, which is not necessarily always very high, it did not do well. And it didn't actually do well, not even in the biorb, which has high humidity, but it has constant ventilation all of the time. And there is a difference between 95% humidity or 92% humidity and 99 or 100% humidity. 100% humidity, if you can pull it off, is ideal. I can pull it off with some plants, not everything. This is one of those plants that enjoys 99, 100% humidity. This is the only way I can make it thrive in my environment. Now, obviously, increasing humidity can be done in various different ways. You can have a humidifier, countless ways, right? Well, for me, because of the pest issue as well, the dome has worked beautifully. I would lift the dome every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whenever I would remember, and it would be absolutely okay. This plant loved that environment. Did I put too much soil? Maybe I did. Okay, I think this is better. I want to maintain the level where I had this plant. I would rather pot it a little lower than previously than too high because this little baby plant already has little roots. So obviously there are multiple ways to keep this plant in high humidity, but I will have to say in my environment, which is pretty hot and in summer pretty dry, I cannot get away with anything other than a cloche, Or maybe I can, but the plant really struggles and grows pretty slow. So I do prefer to keep it under glass. Now, as I see on the internet, I'm not the only person that grows her Aglaonema, this particular one, in this way. I did see Summer Rain Oaks has it under a big vase or something like that, which inspired me for my next setup actually. So I'll give her credit. This is what inspired me for how I'm gonna keep it next, because as you can see, my cloche is starting to become, oh no, it's becoming limp because of the humidity. Do you see? Oh no, I have to hurry. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. This is how finicky this plant is. So Summer has it under glass as well, and this is how she grows it. On the other hand, Jamie, if you know him from Jamie's Jungle, if you follow him on Instagram, he has it like in the ambiental air, and he's doing great with it. But see, he lives in the UK. I live in a subtropical region. Maybe there's a difference in humidity and temperature there, right? So I'm not that lucky. My ambient is not to its liking at all. I have to go with the cloches and everything. But whenever I put her under glass is when she thrived. So that's how I'm going to grow it. The problem is she is starting not to fit under that cloche, and she's gonna grow even bigger than this. So what do I do? Well, you're gonna see. So I just potted it up, very simple. As you can see, I'm gonna water it. With this one, I do use reverse osmosis water combined with tap water and my orchid fertilizer. I water her with the same water that I use for my orchids, but I don't put tap water directly because it's pretty hard and it's just, it's a finicky plant. I don't have the courage, so I baby it. It might do well with tap water, who knows, but I'm not gonna try. So let me get some water and let me get my new decorative pot that I just bought today, especially for her. Ta-da! Look at it. It has the same colors as the plant, doesn't it? Perfect fit. I'm going to water this plant really well. I'm gonna do so at the sink. I'm gonna water it from above, let it drain, and then put it under that cloche and keep it there until I finish her new setup. We're gonna skip through that boring process and let me show you the new setup. I'm gonna place it right here. Yes, this big glass vase is especially for her. I purchased it from a flower shop for her, and it was expensive, but I do believe that it can hold it even at maturity pretty okay. So it's not a temporary setup. I'm pretty sure it's kind of always going to be here. And as a light fixture, I'm gonna use this lamp. Now this is an aquarium lamp actually. It is an Aquael lamp. It is LED slim. I don't know, maybe you're interested. Any lamp or light will do. I like this one because it actually has blue, white, and red LEDs, so it's gonna give me quite an okay spectrum. I will have to say, even though I really like Aquael as a brand for aquariums, it's not my favorite light. It is very narrow, too narrow, and too tiny. It's just going to deliver a very narrow kind of angle of light in an aquarium, which I personally, I don't enjoy. But in the air, it's a different story. I will place it on top or on the lip of this vase, and hey presto, we have light inside. Let me turn it on. Ta-da! Look at that. And my Aglaonema will have a really great light coming from above only for her. Now, at the top, I will actually want to find or make a plexiglass or something lid for this container. I didn't find one yet, so for now, what I'm gonna use is Saran wrap, aka cling film. You might know it under various names, but yeah, this is what I'm gonna use for the top for now. Even if it's not going to be super airtight, I will have a hygrometer inside to monitor the humidity. It will be okay. As long as I'm over 98% humidity, something like that, I should be okay. I think even 95% will be okay, as long as I don't have too much ventilation. This plant does not like wind. I actually just realized that I didn't put my top layer, so we're gonna do that right now. By the way, what I did was I sprayed with reverse osmosis water only the entire plant, and this is okay for this plant. I did it before just to boost a little bit that humidity, because can you see she looks so different than when we started this video. Let me pull a frame from the beginning of the video. Do you see the new leaf moved? It did not like being in the air. Ooh, I am nervous. But she'll be okay. She just likes to play with my feelings. So let's add that top layer really fast and move her to her new home. Now, to be fully honest, I don't water this plant way too often because she sits in high humidity. So evaporation, even if it happens, it just kind of condenses on the sides of the dome. So there was really no need for a lot of watering, and that seemed to be very, very fine with this plant. As I was saying, she enjoys it. And another thing, while we're here and we're not necessarily doing much, another thing you should know about this plant is that it is quite toxic to you and animals as well. So be careful with this plant, hide it away from pets, from children, keep it under lock. It is highly, highly toxic as far as my research goes. Right, we're done. Let's go set it up in its new home. All right, and here is her droopy highness. There is another thing that I will do, but not now because you're not gonna be able to see it. I will spray some reverse osmosis water into this container just to increase that humidity faster because she is seriously droopy right now. I will also fix the crookedness of the pot. Of course, she's crooked. I thought raising her up would look nice, but I don't know, maybe I'm gonna get rid of that riser. I don't know, we'll see. P.S. If you wanna do what I just did, always use either distilled water or reverse osmosis water. Otherwise, I promise you'll have so many calcium spots, or actually lime scale spots, not only on the glass, but also on your plant. It's not gonna be funny, trust me. So use very, very soft water if you wanna just spray around plants or enclosures like this. And there we have it. This will be her new home from now on. She is so high maintenance, but I do believe it's worth it. I was not expecting to droop so much so fast. Usually when you take out plants from very high humidity and you put them in very low humidity, they will droop, they will look very bad. Some of them might even lose leaves, but not this fast, not in like 10 minutes. So you can see she's very high maintenance. So if you didn't know this about this plant, well, now you do. Maybe consider this before purchasing it and consider investing time and energy to give it what it wants, because if you don't, I don't think she's gonna really like very dry environments. Also, make sure you keep her away from pests, or I don't know, make sure you don't have pests because she is a magnet. But yeah, you guys, this is how I managed to finally have success with this plant. It didn't take much, right? Yeah. She's my most high maintenance plant, but I do believe that she will be fine, and yeah, she makes for such a nice centerpiece, doesn't she? I will get rid of the cling film at some point, and yes, I know that I can always just turn the vase upside down, put a plate or something underneath, but I really don't want it because this particular vase and all of the vases that I found at the bottom, they have all sorts of scratches and the glass kind of warps and stuff. I don't like it. I didn't find a very nice container, let's say, that would display it and will look just as nice as a cloche. I just didn't. So that's why I went for this. Even cling film looks nicer than the bottom of this vase. So that's why I don't flip it, just so you know, in case you were wondering. But yeah, that is about it. This has been my journey with this plant, very expensive plant. Let me know, do you have it? How do you deal with its demands? Do you have success with it? And what are the prices nowadays for this plant? I do believe I purchased it from the UK, when I could still purchase from the UK without additional paperwork. So it was more than 2 years ago at this point, and yeah, I don't have much to show for it, but at least I still have it. And that is great success in my opinion. But there we have it. This is the story of my most favorite foliage plant and how I keep her happy. So with that said, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching this video. Hope you find it useful. I also hope you have a great day, and if you want to keep in touch with me through social media, just search for me. I'm at MissOrchidGirl pretty much everywhere. Check out my shorts channel for short form content, but most importantly, do subscribe to this channel because this is where I post the good stuff. Well, that's it. I'll see you next time. Bye.